And work is that.
Welcome back, Kent Adams. I assume that I'm back on. No one told me. Welcome to live TV, right?
Absolutely.
Don Morgan, how are you?
I'm
By the
great.
way, if you're watching this and you wonder what happened to Chris Patterson, he had an important meeting he had to leave for. So
I'm
much.
not unimportant.
Well, now I am brought in Don Morgan, who is just as important. Okay.
There you go.
All right. How are you?
I'm good.
All right. When I asked you what we wanted to talk about today, you said robots.
Robots.
Yes, and I'm hoping that doesn't include replacing me.
Well, one of the headlines
Yeah.
that I talk about in this week's column is one from England. Robot journalists to start writing news and sports stories for Britain and Ireland's national news agency. So, yeah, it could be coming for you. There
Yeah.
are robot financial advisors. There are robot lawyers. You may remember 40 years ago the movie The Russians Are Coming, The Russians Are Coming.
Yes.
We did it today. It's
They've
The
come.
Robots Are Coming, The Robots Are Coming. And they're coming for the white-collar jobs.
Yeah.
And I put a quote in the beginning of my column from Michael Ovitz. The human condition is not perfect. We're not perfect specimens, any of us. We're not robots.
Yes, but we may be replaced by them.
And if you want to reduce the error rate
Right.
to as close to zero as possible, it isn't through hiring a human being.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so if you can hire a robot
it's
chef.
electrons.
So you buy a robot chef. You start a restaurant and you buy a robot chef
Right.
for $18,000 instead of hiring one for $60,000.
Who gets it right all the time?
Who gets it right all the time, and who never calls in sick, and who never steals from you, and who doesn't walk out in a fit of irritation because they don't like your suggestions on the menu,
Right.
and who costs you a few $100s a month in maintenance.
Right.
By the way, you don't pay payroll tax, which means they're not supporting the Social
Right.
Security system.
Right. Their software gets updated.
And if they break, you buy a new one, and it's still cheaper.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, now, the blue-collar world has been under robotic assault since the end of World War II.
Yeah, obvious thinking car assembly
Auto-
would be one we can all visualize.
And so what happens is you automate it, and then you can make it better and better and better.
Right.
You remember the early 60s Japanese cars that if you leaned against them, they buckled?
Yes. Yes.
And if you needed to, you could lift them up with one hand because
Yes.
they were, 800-pound cars.
Usually it was the Volkswagen that we moved for our teachers.
Oh, yeah. But today, those self-same Japanese cars are luxury cars
Yeah.
and made almost entirely by robot.
Right.
And
Perfect.
almost perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you think about what we do here in terms of there are robots, if you will, in terms of software
Oh, yeah.
that runs things.
Yeah.
It used to be if you ran a radio station, you would have somebody on duty 24/7
Yep.
to run and play records or whatever it may be. Our live stream is done completely by a separate computer that's programmed with software.
It's a robot.
I update it a couple times a week.
Yep.
On Thursday, I want it to do this and so forth. But pretty much takes me less than 10 minutes to update 3 or 4 days worth of programming, and I can walk away.
It's not just the blue-collar worker anymore.
Right, right,
And you might say, well, but what about the skilled things like lawyers?
right.
There are at least 2 robot lawyers that are working right now.
Really?
One of them from IBM, hired by a bankruptcy law firm in Washington, D.C.
The other's in a car that chases ambulances?
Not yet, but this is even better. So I wish that we had a lawyer here to
Yeah.
talk to, because if I went to a lawyer to dispute a parking ticket, they would laugh at me because
Right.
the cost would be ridiculous.
Right.
So this robot lawyer has defeated 160,000 parking tickets so far
Really?
at a very nominal fee.
Wow.
So we use robots for different reasons, but lawyers,
Yes.
accountants are coming. Almost any rules-based decision.
Even doctors are using them.
Yeah, in fact, Congress debated a few years ago whether or not IBM's Dr. Watson should be regulated as a medical device because the medical industry is using it as an expert system to help in diagnosis and treatment.
Wow. Okay.
So you may remember from the technology revolution something called Moore's Law.
Yes. Yes.
Basically, and I'm making it simple, every 2 years the price of a computer will be cut in half, or the speed will double, or both.
Right.
Moore's Law is dead. It's moving faster than that. It's moving way faster than that. And the robotic revolution, coupled with the Internet of Everything,
Yes.
not just your smartphone, but your smartwatch and your smart glasses and
Right.
your smart refrigerator and your smart automobile and your smart TV, that data set that they're collecting about who Kent Adams
Yes.
is going to make it so easy to sell stuff to you.
Well, yes.
Okay?
Yeah, they're already doing it.
And they
in
do a
lot of
very
ways.
good job.
Yes, they do.
And so that combination is speeding our society towards a place we've never been before.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff in there.
And sometimes so fast it's hard to keep up.
It is
really
indeed
is,
hard to
isn't it?
keep up.
Yeah.
The speed of change is stressing all of our cultural, political, legal, moral, and ethical systems. You know, I'll give you one last example. Drones.
Yes.
Okay, drones are being used every day, hundreds of times a day in the United States to deliver packages.
Right.
Did you know where?
No.
So drones are delivering packages every day by
Yes.
the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds into prisons. Criminals figured out how to use drones to deliver drugs
Really?
into prisons.
Oh, gee. Okay.
Now, it's illegal, but tell me, Uber and Lyft, those
Yeah.
violate taxi laws all over the place.
Yeah.
Our laws aren't keeping up with the technology.
Right. Right. Well, it's
And-
the same with driverless cars too.
That's
I
a
mean,
robot driving you around.
Yeah.
The robots are coming.
Right. Right.
And I don't think, with all due respect to our political class, they have a clue.
Right. Well, no, because most of our political class is interested in being reelected. That's their focus.
And
You and I and the viewers are down the list.
we have to live in the real world. They live in an artificial bubble.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the truth. Because they don't have the same health care and everything else that.
Their world isn't our world.
Yeah. Wow. Any other exciting news? I won't. I'm just kidding.
20 days to election.
Oh, yeah. Great. Okay. Can we have a drinking game here? No, I'm just. All right. Don, thank you. Independent Wealth Connections. Your phone number is.
509-931-1088.
Okay. And independentwealthconnections.com.
Indeed, on the
That's
web.
that short name, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Hey, thanks for watching today. Watch next week at 12 noon. Have a great day.